Myself, Professor Hasitkumar Nagaria from the SIA College of Higher Education, Dombivli East. My today's topic is vertical balance sheet, which I have selected from the semester 3 of SYBCom. Objectives of today's session is, at the end of this lecture, learner is able to describe vertical balance sheet. And second, at the end of this lecture, learner is able to modify horizontal balance sheet into vertical balance sheet. Content, horizontal balance sheet and vertical balance sheet. Students, all of you have studied horizontal balance sheet till your FY BCom level. So here is, I have taken a small example for understanding horizontal balance sheet. In this, Hema's company is given to you and balance sheet is given to you. Balance sheet as on 31/3/2017. In these 4 columns are given to you: liabilities, amount rupees, assets, amount rupees. If you look at the liability side, there are different items of liabilities: equity share capital 60, preference share capital of 40, debenture is of 30, general reserve is of 20, and current liability is 50. So the total comes to 200 on the liability side. On the asset side, fixed asset is of 20, long-term investment is of 80, current asset is of 80, and fictitious asset is of 20. So on the asset side, total is also 200. So liability and asset both are getting tallied. Now we have to convert this horizontal balance sheet into vertical balance sheet. So if you look at this next slide, vertical balance sheet, you have to write in the top side. Then you have to write down the Hema's company, and below that balance sheet as on 31/3/2017. In this 3 different columns you have to prepare. First is particulars, second is amount rupees, and third is amount rupees. So in particulars, there are 2 types of funds. First is sources. In particulars, you have to divide this entire balance sheet into 2 different parts. First is sources of funds, and second is application of funds. Now, students, you have to remember, sources of funds means the funds which the company is getting from the different shareholders as well as from the debenture holders and from other stakeholders. So, sources of funds, in that first is shareholders fund, which get divided, which is made up of share capital plus reserves and surplus minus fictitious assets. So in share capital, first we have to write equity share capital, which is given to you in the liability side, that is 60. That I will write here in the inner column. Now, second item in that is preference share capital, which also is given in the liability side of your horizontal balance sheet, 40, which I have transferred in the inner column. So if you make the total of both, it will be total share capital 100. Now in this we have to add reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus item which is given on the liability side is general reserve 20. So that 20 I will write it here, and after that we have to subtract fictitious assets. Fictitious assets are given on the liability side as your last item, that is 20. So if you add total share capital of 100 plus reserves and surplus in that general reserve 20, so 120 minus fictitious asset 20. So finally in the outer column, I will get total of 100, and 100 is reflected as shareholders fund or net worth or own funds. Now the second part of the sources of fund is borrowed funds. In that, borrowed fund is made up of 2 parts: secured loan and unsecured loan. Secured loan we have in this above balance sheet is debentures. So debentures I will write below the secured loan. I will write only one item is there, that's why I will write it in the outer column. If there are more than one item, then I will write it in the inner column, and finally I will take the total in the outer column. Now in this, unsecured loan is not given to us, so we will just take 30 as our borrowed funds figures in the outer column. Now if you add shareholder fund of 100 and borrowed fund of 30, final total you will get 130 as your total capital employed. Now the next part of balance sheet is application of funds. whatever funds we have collected from the shareholders as well as from the debenture holders or other borrowers, other lenders, that now we have to utilize for running our company, for purchasing assets, for investing, or for working capital. So basically, application of fund is made up of three parts: fixed asset plus long-term investment plus working capital. In this first part, fixed asset, I have written 20 in the outer column, which is given to you in the asset side of horizontal balance sheet 20. Fixed asset basically gets classified into tangible assets and non-tangible assets. Right now, there is no bifurcation, so we can simply write fixed asset as 20. Second part of application of fund is long-term investment, that is 80, which is given to you in the asset side of your horizontal balance sheet 80. Always you have to remember, here we will only take into account long-term investment and not short-term investment or any other investment. So the third part of application of fund is working capital. The formula for that is current asset and minus current liabilities. So current asset, I will take it from the 80 of the horizontal balance sheet, and current liabilities are 50 from the horizontal balance sheet. If I will subtract that both, I will get working capital as 30 in the outer column. Now I have to do the total of application of funds: fixed assets 20 plus long-term investment 80 plus working capital 30. So I will get the total of 130 as my total capital employed. Student, always you have to remember here in vertical balance sheet, your sources of fund total, that is total capital employed 130, is always be equal to application of funds total, that is total funds utilized or total capital employed as 130. Thank you all.